And when we come back, we'll introduce you to a new author who has reinvented herself at the age of 67.
Many of us have rediscovered the joy of slowing down and disappearing into a good book these past 6 months. And of course, Linda Carson's Facebook book club has been a huge hit. So we are always happy to introduce you to new novels and the authors behind them. Grace Salmon is here to tell us about her first fiction book, The Eaves. Great to meet you, Grace.
Wonderful to have the opportunity to be with you. So great to be here. Thanks.
So I know you've written 3 prior books. Tell us what made you want to write a novel. What's the inspiration behind The Eaves?
That's a wonderful opportunity for me because when I started The Eaves, I pretty much thought I was done. I was thinking of retiring. My business and education was slowing down. And I had lost a lot of my roles as mother. My kids were grown. My parents were deceased. I wasn't married. And I was asking myself the question, what does the rest of my life look like? So I started this idea of The Eaves. People defining themselves. So the Jessica Barnett, who's the lead character, was letting herself go, except for maybe her vodka. And she met these wonderful, older, very diverse women and begins to tell their oral histories. And in telling their story, everyone's story changes.
Which sounds like a little bit of a parallel to your life, about your story in life changing as you told theirs. How did that all tie together?
Well, I think in any first novelist, there's always a lot of yourself in the story, but it's not entirely me. I've always been a writer, so it's for me a key way to communicate. In my 3 educational books, it was a way to tell the story of how to improve high schools. And the way I came to Sarasota was I actually had the real gift of helping the high schools reform themselves. So writing for me was always a passion. And when I began to retire and transition into retirement, this was just the next way to tell another story. It was also really important for me to value people as they age. There's a wonderful Bette Midler song about hello in there, hello. And it talks about the importance of just slowing down and taking a moment to appreciate the older people in our lives. So there we have The Eaves.
What do you hope the readers are going to take away from your story?
Oh, so many things. One of the key messages, I think, is having the opportunity to take advantage of the conversations we wish we could have with our parents if they're no longer here, and the conversations we would want to impart to our children if they were ready to listen to our story. Certainly during this pandemic, I think we've all really wrestled with the idea of what legacy are we going to live? What legacy are we going to leave behind? So that's one of the messages that I want The Eaves to carry through. It's a great book club book. That's one of the things that's been really fun for me during this very bizarre time to try to launch a book. We don't have book signings. We don't have the opportunity to go into bookstores. So for me, success with the book is really the book clubs that I've been doing, the webinars, this wonderful opportunity to get the word out. Because when our stories are told, things change. And to have this opportunity to have people have these important conversations with their friends, with their family, that's really what success is going to be for me in this book.
I love how you tied your educational experiences with many different groups of people into creating characters that have very diverse backgrounds. That seems like something that's really going to, call to everyone.
It's really important to me. When I was writing The Eaves, I was trying to create the world I would want to live in, which is one that's very diverse. So we have, I think, our oldest character is 94, our youngest is 15. We have African Americans, white people, Latinx family, there's a lesbian couple. It's a very, very diverse group of people. And for me, I always want to learn. I always want to be that person who's curious about the next thing. So there are lots of things within the book, curious little factoids. One of the things that was a surprise to me is that even though the section in the book where they talk about Juneteenth was written almost 2 years ago, I would guess many people, particularly Caucasian readers, would not know anything about Juneteenth. So weaving in those little factoids also keep the reader really engaged. And that is definitely my education bent.
And helping people learn along the way. All right, Grace, great to meet you. This is certainly a wonderful pick for book clubs everywhere, as it involves so many different people, and I think someone everyone can identify with. The Eaves is available on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. And for more information about the story, the background, and of course Grace herself, you could go to gracesalmon.net. We'll be right back.